Marcus stared at his wife Rachel across the dining table, the remnants of their anniversary dinner growing cold between them. She was scrolling through her phone again, that familiar half-smile playing on her lips, the one that used to be reserved for him. "Rachel, can we talk about this weekend thing?" Marcus asked, setting down his fork with deliberate calm. She didn't look up. "What about it?" "You're going out with Derek again. Your ex-boyfriend Derek. For the third weekend in a row." "So?" Rachel finally met his eyes, defiant. "They're just friends from college. It's not like I'm doing anything wrong. We go dancing, have drinks, catch up. It's called having a social life, Marcus." "A social life that doesn't include your husband," Marcus said, fighting to keep his voice steady. "Every Friday and Saturday night for 3 weeks. You come home at 4 in the morning smelling like alcohol and men's cologne." Rachel's eyes flashed. "Here we go again. You're so insecure. Derek and I dated in college, that was 10 years ago. We're adults now. We can be friends. Friends don't dance the way you two were dancing in those Instagram stories." "Oh my God. You're stalking my social media now?" Rachel threw her napkin on the table. "This is exactly why I need these breaks. You're suffocating me, Marcus. I'm 32 years old. Not some teenager with a curfew." Marcus felt something crack inside his chest. 7 years of marriage, and it had come to this. "I'm not trying to control you, Rachel. I'm trying to understand why my wife would rather spend every weekend partying with her ex-boyfriend than spend time with me." "Because you're boring." The words exploded out of her, sharp and cruel. "There, I said it. You come home from your dead-end accounting job, you microwave dinner, you watch Netflix, and you're in bed by 10. Derek knows how to have fun. He makes me feel alive again." The silence that followed was deafening. Marcus could hear the kitchen clock ticking, each second hammering another nail into the coffin of his marriage. "Maybe." Rachel's voice softened, but her words cut deeper. "Maybe we should take a break. Like, pause us for a while. Give each other some space." "A break?" Marcus repeated numbly. "Yeah, I need to figure out what I want. And clearly, you're not happy either if you're going to police my friendships." She stood up, grabbing her phone. "I'm going to bed. Derek's picking me up tomorrow at 8. Marcus sat alone at the table for 2 hours after she left. His phone buzzed, a text from his best friend Jake. "Bro," saw Rachel's story. "You good?" He wasn't good. But as he sat there in the darkness of their dining room, surrounded by the life they'd built together, Marcus made a decision. He was done begging, done arguing, done trying to compete with the ghost of her past. If Rachel wanted a break to figure out what she wanted, fine. But Marcus was going to use that break too. He pulled up his laptop and started typing. First, an email to that headhunter who'd been trying to recruit him for months. Second, a search for the gym that had opened downtown. Third, a text back to Jake. "Not yet, but I will be." By the time Marcus went to bed, on the couch, since Rachel had locked their bedroom door, he had a job interview scheduled for Monday, a gym membership application filled out, and a strange sense of calm washing over him. Rachel wanted to pause their marriage to party with her ex? Fine. But when she pressed play again, she was going to find a very different man waiting, or maybe she wouldn't find him waiting at all. Marcus closed his eyes, and for the first time in months, he slept soundly. Tomorrow was Friday. Rachel would go clubbing with Derek, and Marcus would start building a life that didn't revolve around waiting for his wife to come home. The game had changed. Rachel just didn't know it yet. 3 weeks had passed since Rachel's ultimatum, and Marcus barely recognized his own life. The morning sun streamed through the windows of his new apartment, a sleek one-bedroom loft downtown that he'd signed for 2 days after their break began. He hadn't told Rachel he was moving out. He'd simply packed his essentials while she was at work and left a note on the counter. "You wanted space. Now we both have it." His phone buzzed with another ignored text from her. The first week, she'd been angry. The second week, confused. Now, in week 3, she was oscillating between fury and what seemed like concern. Marcus deleted the message without reading it. "You ready, man?" Jake called from the doorway, gym bag in hand. "Trevor's already at the gym. He says he's going to make you cry today. Marcus grinned, checking his reflection in the hallway mirror. 3 weeks of 5 a.m. training sessions with Jake and their former college friend Trevor, a personal trainer who'd turned fitness into an art form, had already started showing results. His face looked leaner, his shoulders broader under his fitted t-shirt. "Let him try," Marcus said, grabbing his water bottle. At the gym, Trevor put him through hell. Deadlifts, pull-ups, sprints on the assault bike. Every muscle screamed, but Marcus pushed harder. Each drop of sweat felt like shedding the old version of himself, the one who'd let his wife walk all over him. "Dude, I don't know what happened with Rachel," Trevor said during their cool down, "but this breakup energy is doing wonders for your gains. You've lost 12 pounds and you're lifting heavier than guys who've been training for years." "It's not a breakup," Marcus corrected, then paused. "Actually, I don't know what it is. She wanted a break. I gave her one." Jake exchanged a look with Trevor. "Bro, she's posted 16 stories this month of her and Derek at various clubs. That's not taking a break to find herself. That's dating her ex while keeping you on standby." Marcus already knew. He'd seen them. Rachel in tight dresses, Derek's arm around her waist, champagne bottles, late-night diner runs. She was living her best life, or at least performing it for social media. Part of him still ached when he saw those posts, but a growing part of him felt nothing. "Forget her for now," Trevor said. "Tell them about Monday." Marcus couldn't suppress his smile. "I start my new job Monday. Senior financial analyst at Hartwell and Associates. 40% pay raise, full benefits, and they're sending me to New York for a conference next month." "That's my boy." Jake clapped him on the shoulder. "From dead-end accounting to corporate powerhouse. Rachel's going to lose her mind when she finds out." "If she finds out," Marcus said quietly. After the gym, the three of them grabbed breakfast at a trendy cafe downtown, the kind of place Marcus would never have gone before, the kind of place Rachel would have loved. 2 women at the next table kept glancing over, whispering and giggling. "Don't look now," Jake whispered. "But the brunette has been staring at you for 5 minutes straight." Marcus glanced over briefly. She was attractive, early 30s, professional-looking, confident smile. She caught his eye and waved. Before he could think too hard about it, she approached their table. "I'm so sorry to interrupt," she said, her voice warm and slightly nervous. "But I just had to say, I love your watch. Is that a vintage Seiko?" Marcus looked down at the watch his grandfather had given him. "It is, actually. 1970s. It was my grandfather's. My dad collects them," she said, her smile widening. "I'm Emma, by the way. I work at the art gallery across the street." They talked for 10 minutes about watches, her gallery, and a photography exhibition opening next Friday. When she handed him her card with her personal number written on the back, Jake and Trevor were practically vibrating with excitement. "You should come to the opening," Emma said, her eyes holding his. "I have a feeling you'd appreciate the collection. And maybe we could grab dinner after." After she left, Jake exploded. "Dude, she was totally into you. And you were so smooth. Who are you and what have you done with Marcus?" Marcus tucked the card into his wallet, feeling something he hadn't felt in years. Desired. Seen. Not as Rachel's boring husband, but as himself. His phone buzzed again. Rachel calling now. He declined it. "Aren't you going to answer?" Trevor asked. "No," Marcus said simply. "She's on her break. I'm on mine." That night, Marcus sat in his new apartment, looking out at the city lights. His laptop showed his calendar. Monday, first day at new job. Wednesday, viewing for new car to replace his decade-old sedan. Friday, potential date with Emma. Saturday, Trevor had invited him to a friend's rooftop party. His old life was in the rearview mirror. And for the first time since Rachel had uttered the words, "Maybe we should pause us," Marcus realized he wasn't waiting for her to unpause anything. He was writing an entirely new story. 6 weeks into their break, and Marcus felt like a different person. He stood in the elevator of the Hartwell and Associates building, his reflection in the polished steel doors showing a man who'd shed 20 pounds, gained visible muscle definition, and wore confidence like a tailored suit, which, coincidentally, he was also wearing. Custom-made, courtesy of his first bonus check. "Morning, Marcus." Sarah from marketing waved as he stepped out. "Still on for the team lunch today? Wouldn't miss it," he replied with an easy smile that used to be rare. His office, his actual office with his name on the door, still gave him a thrill. 3 weeks into the new job, and he'd already impressed the partners with his analysis on 2 major accounts. They'd started inviting him to executive meetings, asking his opinion, treating him like the professional he'd always been but had never been recognized as. His phone buzzed. A text from Emma. "Still good for dinner tonight? I found an amazing new Italian place." "Perfect," he typed back. "Pick you up at 7? This would be their 4th date in 3 weeks. Emma was everything Rachel wasn't. Present, engaged, genuinely interested in his thoughts and opinions. She laughed at his jokes, asked about his day, and never once made him feel like he was boring. Last Saturday, she'd invited him to an art gallery fundraiser where he'd met her friends, other young professionals who'd welcomed him warmly into their circle. His phone buzzed again. Rachel. The 7th call this week. He declined it, then blocked her number. He'd unblocked her 3 times already when guilt crept in, but she'd just resumed the frantic calling. His lawyer, yes, he'd consulted a lawyer, had advised him to communicate only through email or text for documentation purposes. Rachel's emails had evolved from angry, "How dare you move out without discussing it?" to confused, "Can we please just talk?" to what seemed like genuine distress. "Marcus, I'm scared. I think I made a mistake." Jake had shown him her recent Instagram activity. The posts with Derek had stopped 2 weeks ago. Her stories had shifted from nightclub glamour shots to vague quotes about regret and second chances. She'd even posted a photo of their wedding picture with a broken heart emoji. "She's having buyer's remorse," Jake had said. "Now that you're not sitting at home waiting for her, she wants you back." Marcus had felt a twinge of something. Not quite satisfaction, but perhaps vindication. He'd drafted a response to her emails several times but never sent them. What was there to say? She'd wanted a break to figure out what she wanted. He was giving her all the time she needed. That evening, Marcus picked Emma up from her townhouse. She wore a navy dress that made her eyes sparkle, and when she kissed his cheek, he caught the scent of jasmine perfume. "You look incredible," she said, adjusting his tie slightly. "That suit is perfect on you." At dinner, they talked about everything: her upcoming gallery opening, his New York conference, their shared love of 90s alternative rock, her complicated relationship with her mother, his dreams of maybe starting his own consulting firm someday. "Can I ask you something?" Emma said over dessert, her fingers laced with his on the table. "And you don't have to answer if it's too personal. Go ahead. Your wife, the one you're separated from. Do you still love her?" Marcus sat with the question, really considering it. "I loved who I thought she was," he finally said. "I loved the woman I married 7 years ago, but somewhere along the way she became someone else. Or maybe I just finally saw who she really was. That must hurt." It did. It doesn't anymore. He was surprised to realize it was true. "I spent years trying to be enough for her. Working harder, coming home earlier, planning date nights she'd cancel. I blamed myself for being boring, for not being exciting like her ex-boyfriend Derek." Emma's expression hardened. "She's an idiot." Marcus laughed. "Maybe, but she did me a favor. She wanted to pause our marriage, and I realized that I didn't want to hit play again. Not on that version of my life. So what happens now? Divorce. Eventually. My lawyer says we should wait a few more weeks to establish the separation. But yes, divorce." Saying it out loud felt liberating, not frightening. Emma squeezed his hand. "I know this might seem fast, and I don't want to pressure you, but I really like you, Marcus. The real you. Not some on-hold version waiting for someone else to decide your worth." They talked until the restaurant staff started cleaning around them, then walked along the waterfront, her hand in his. When he dropped her off, she kissed him. Not a peck, but a real kiss that made his heart race. "Text me when you get home," she said. "I worry about you." Driving back to his loft, Marcus felt something he hadn't felt in years. Anticipation for the future. His phone, which he'd left in the car, showed 12 missed calls from Rachel and a voicemail. Against his better judgment, he listened to it. "Marcus, please. I need to talk to you. It's important. Derek and we're not. I made a huge mistake. I miss you. I miss us. Can we please just meet somewhere and talk? I'll do anything to fix this. Please, just call me back." Her voice cracked at the end, and he could tell she'd been crying. Marcus saved the voicemail, then archived it. Not deleted, his lawyer had said to keep records, but out of sight. Rachel had made her choice when she'd packed her club clothes and walked out the door with Derek 6 weeks ago. Now Marcus was making his. And it didn't include waiting by the phone for someone who'd only realized his value after throwing it away. He texted Emma, "Home safe. Had an amazing time tonight. You free Saturday? Trevor's having a rooftop party." Her response was immediate. "I'd love that. Can't wait." Marcus smiled and got ready for bed. Tomorrow was Friday, and he had a full day ahead: morning workout with Jake and Trevor, important presentation at work, happy hour with his new colleagues. His life was full, purposeful, and entirely his own. Rachel wanted to talk? She could schedule an appointment with his lawyer. Marcus was done being on pause. Rachel's Friday started like every other Friday for the past 6 weeks. Staring at her phone, debating whether to call Marcus again. Her thumb hovered over his contact. Blocked. Still blocked. "Are you ready or what?" Derek called from her living room. He'd started coming over to pick her up from the house. Marcus's house, technically, though he'd apparently moved out without warning. The mortgage was in both their names, but only her car sat in the driveway now. She looked at herself in the mirror. The red dress that used to make her feel powerful now just looked desperate. Dark circles shadowed her eyes despite the concealer. She'd lost weight, but not in the good way, in the living on coffee and anxiety way. "Rachel, come on, we're going to miss the table." The club scene had lost its appeal 3 weeks ago, but Derek kept insisting they go out. It was their thing, he said, their Friday and Saturday night tradition. Except it didn't feel fun anymore. Felt exhausting. She grabbed her clutch and headed downstairs. Derek was dressed in his usual club attire, designer everything, cologne that probably cost more than her car payment, hair styled within an inch of its life. "Finally," he said, looking her up and down with an expression she couldn't quite read. "Let's go." In his BMW, Rachel tried to make conversation. "Have you heard anything from Marcus? Does Jake mention him?" Derek's jaw tightened. "Why do you keep asking about your husband? I thought we were having fun." "We are, because it's really killing the vibe, Rachel. You wanted to party and feel alive again. Remember? You said Marcus was boring. You said I made you feel young." He glanced at her, irritation clear in his eyes. "So either be present or don't come out." Rachel fell silent. When had Derek become so harsh? Or had he always been this way and she'd forgotten? Their college relationship had ended because he cheated on her with 2 different girls and never apologized. Why had she thought reconnecting with him was a good idea? Because you were bored. A voice in her head whispered. Because Marcus came home tired and you wanted excitement. Because Derek represented your youth, before mortgages and responsibilities and the mundane reality of marriage. At the club, Derek immediately ordered bottle service. On her card, she noticed, since his was maxed out this week. He'd been doing that a lot lately. She'd spent nearly $3,000 on their nights out over the past 6 weeks. The music was too loud. The lights were too bright. Everyone seemed so young. Were they always this young? A girl in a crop top stumbled past, barely 21, screaming into her phone about some drama. "I'm going to the bathroom," Rachel shouted over the music. "Whatever," Derek replied, already chatting up a blonde woman at the next table. In the bathroom, Rachel stared at herself in the harsh fluorescent lighting. What was she doing? She'd thrown away her marriage for this? For expensive drinks and headaches and watching her ex-boyfriend flirt with other women? She pulled out her phone and opened Instagram. Mistake. Massive mistake. Marcus's profile, which had been dormant for years, was suddenly active. Posted 4 hours ago. A photo of him in a tailored suit, standing in what looked like a corner office with a city skyline behind him. He looked incredible, lean, confident, happy. The caption read, "New beginnings. Tagged location, Hartwell and Associates." Comments flooded the post. Jake, living your best life, brother. Trevor, transformation complete. Proud of you, man. And then, a comment from someone named Emma with a heart emoji. So proud of you. Can't wait for tonight. Red heart. Rachel's hands shook as she clicked on Emma's profile. Beautiful, sophisticated, owned an art gallery. Her recent posts showed her at gallery openings, charity events, trendy restaurants. And there, 3 photos down, a picture of her and Marcus at what looked like a fancy dinner, his arm around her shoulders, both of them laughing at something off camera. Posted 3 days ago. The bathroom spun. Marcus was dating someone. Marcus had a new job. Marcus had apparently transformed into some kind of successful, fit, happy version of himself. Without her, while she'd been clubbing with Derek, her husband had been rebuilding his entire life. Rachel burst out of the bathroom, nearly colliding with Derek, who was now actively making out with the blonde woman. "Derek!" she shouted. He broke away, annoyed. "What? Are you serious right now? What? We're on a break from our spouses, remember? I thought we were just having fun." He smirked. "You didn't think this was exclusive, did you?" The realization hit her like cold water. Derek had never wanted her back. He'd wanted a party buddy who'd pay for drinks and make his ex-girlfriend jealous. He'd probably been seeing other women this entire time. "You know what?" Rachel grabbed her clutch. "I'm done. We're done. Whatever this was, it's over." "Fine by me," Derek shrugged. "But you're covering tonight's tab. It's on your card. Cancel it." "Too late. Already approved." "What? You thought you could just leave me with the bill?" "You are unbelievable. And you're pathetic." Derek shot back, his nice guy mask completely gone. "Throwing away your marriage to relive college with me? I've been laughing about you with the guys for weeks. Desperate housewife trying to be 22 again. That's what we call you." Heat flooded Rachel's face. Shame, anger, humiliation all mixed together. "Get away from me," she said, her voice shaking. "Gladly." "Security." Before Rachel could process what was happening, a bouncer appeared. Derek pointed at her with exaggerated concern. "This woman is harassing me and my guest. She's drunk and causing a scene. Can you escort her out?" "I'm not drunk." "Ma'am, we're going to need you to leave," the bouncer said firmly. The walk through the club to the exit was the longest of Rachel's life. People stared. Someone laughed. She caught a glimpse of herself in a mirror. Mascara smudged, dress wrinkled, looking every bit the mess she'd become. Outside, the cool night air hit her like a slap. She was 10 miles from home. Her car was at the house because Derek had picked her up. She pulled out her phone with shaking hands. She needed to call Marcus. Marcus would come get her. Marcus always came when she needed him. That's who he was. Reliable, dependable, boring Marcus who loved her unconditionally. Her finger hovered over his contact. Still blocked. She tried calling from a different number, a trick she'd used before. It rang once, then went to voicemail. He'd blocked this number too. Desperate, she tried texting, "Marcus, please. I'm stranded outside Club Apex. Derek left me here. I need help. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Please." The message showed as delivered but not read. She waited 5 minutes. 10. 15. Nothing. Rachel's heart raced. What now? She had some girlfriends she could call, but they'd all warned her about Derek. They'd all told her she was making a mistake with this whole break thing. The thought of admitting they were right was unbearable. She could call an Uber, but her phone was at 3% battery. She could walk, but in heels at midnight it would take hours. She could. A couple walked past, laughing intimately. The woman looked up at her companion with pure adoration. He kissed her forehead tenderly. They looked happy, in love, the way she and Marcus used to look. Rachel sank onto the curb, her expensive dress gathering street dirt, and finally let herself cry. Not delicate tears, but ugly, body-shaking sobs. Everything she'd taken for granted, her marriage, her husband, her stable life. She'd thrown it all away for what? A few weeks of partying with a man who'd never respected her? Her phone buzzed. Her heart leapt. Marcus? No. A notification. Marcus had posted a new Instagram story. With the last 2% of her battery, she watched it. Marcus and Emma, dressed up, walking into what looked like a nice Italian restaurant. Emma's hand in his. Both of them smiling like they didn't have a care in the world. The caption. Perfect evening with an amazing woman. Life is good. Glowing star. Rachel's phone died in her hand, the screen going black, leaving her sitting alone on a dirty curb outside the club that had just kicked her out, wearing a dress she'd bought to impress her ex-boyfriend, while her husband, her soon-to-be ex-husband, was on a date with someone new. This was rock bottom, and she had no one to blame but herself. It took Rachel 45 minutes to walk home in her heels. By the time she reached the house, her empty, echoing house, her feet were bleeding and her pride was in tatters. She limped inside, plugged in her phone, and collapsed on the couch where Marcus used to fall asleep watching Netflix. The house felt like a museum of her failures. Their wedding photo still hung on the wall. Marcus's favorite coffee mug sat in the dish rack, unwashed. From the last morning he'd been there. His reading glasses were still on the side table. When her phone powered up, she found one new message. Not from Marcus, from her credit card company. $4,300 charged tonight. Derek had apparently ordered several more bottles after she'd left, and claimed they were on her tab. She also had 17 new notifications on social media. Against her better judgment, she checked them. Marcus had been tagged in multiple posts from what looked like a rooftop party. He was surrounded by people. Attractive, successful-looking people who seemed genuinely happy to be around him. There was Jake and Trevor, who Rachel had always dismissed as bad influences. There was Emma, looking radiant in a casual sundress, her hand resting comfortably on Marcus's shoulder. There were other couples, other friends, all laughing and enjoying themselves. In one photo, Marcus was mid-laugh at something someone had said, his head thrown back, eyes crinkled with genuine joy. He looked free, unburdened, like a man who'd shed a heavy weight and could finally breathe. Rachel barely recognized him. This wasn't the tired, defeated man who'd sat across from her at their anniversary dinner 8 weeks ago. This was someone who'd taken her rejection and forged himself into something stronger. Her phone rang. Finally, Marcus? No, her sister, Lauren. Where the hell have you been? Lauren demanded. I've been calling for 3 hours. Are you okay? I'm home now. Rachel, what's going on? Mom said Marcus moved out weeks ago and you didn't tell anyone. She saw him at the grocery store with some woman and he pretended not to see her. Fresh tears burned Rachel's eyes. I messed up, Lauren. I messed up so bad. The whole story spilled out. The clubbing, Derek, the break, Marcus's transformation, tonight's humiliation. Lauren listened in silence, which was somehow worse than if she'd yelled. So let me get this straight, Lauren finally said, her voice dangerously calm. You had a good man, a faithful husband who worked hard and loved you, and you threw it away to party with your college ex-boyfriend who always treated you like garbage. When you say it like that, how else should I say it, Rachel? You told Marcus he was boring. You rubbed your nights out with your ex in his face. You suggested taking a break so you could do what, exactly? Sleep with Derek? Relive your 20s? What was the endgame here? I don't know, Rachel sobbed. I just felt stuck, like my life was passing by and I was missing something. So instead of talking to your husband, maybe suggesting couples therapy or planning a vacation together, you decided to blow up your marriage? I thought Marcus would fight for me, Rachel whispered. I thought he'd beg me to stay, prove how much he loved me. Instead, he just left. He improved himself and moved on like I meant nothing. Lauren's laugh was bitter. You told him you wanted a break, Rachel. You gave him permission to move on. What did you expect? That he'd sit around crying while you partied? Marcus is a good man, the best. And you made him feel like he wasn't enough. I know. Do you? Because from where I'm sitting, you're not upset that Marcus is gone. You're upset that he's happy without you. You're upset that he's not suffering. The truth of Lauren's words hit like a physical blow. Was that it? Had she expected Marcus to wither without her, to prove her importance by falling apart? I need to talk to him, Rachel said. I need to apologize, explain. Rachel, honey, I love you, but I think you need to leave that man alone. What? He's moved on. He has a new job, new friends, apparently a new girlfriend who treats him well. The kindest thing you can do is sign the divorce papers when they come and let him be happy. But I love him. Do you? Or do you love the idea of him? The safety net he represented. Lauren's voice softened. I think you need to spend some time alone. Figure out who you are and what you really want. Not what's exciting or what makes you feel young, but what actually matters to you. After they hung up, Rachel sat in the darkness for hours. She finally opened her laptop and searched for Marcus's new company. Hartwell and Associates. Prestigious, successful, everything Marcus had deserved but never gotten at his old job. She found a press release from 2 weeks ago announcing their new senior financial analyst, complete with Marcus's professional photo. He looked proud, accomplished. She drafted an email to him 17 times. Each one deleted. What could she say? I'm sorry I threw away our marriage for a man who kicked me out of a club. I made a mistake. Please take me back. I didn't realize what I had until I lost it. All true. All pathetic. All far too late. Her phone buzzed. A message from Derek. Hope you got home okay. No hard feelings, right? It was fun while it lasted. Smiling face with sunglasses. Rachel blocked his number. Then she went through her Instagram and deleted every photo of their nights out. The clubs, the drinks, the performative happiness. All of it gone. Finally, at 3 a.m., she typed out a message to Marcus and hit send before she could overthink it. Marcus, I know you probably won't read this, and I don't blame you. I don't expect a response. I just need you to know you were never boring. You were never the problem. I was chasing something that doesn't exist. Youth, excitement, validation from a man who never respected me. Meanwhile, I failed to see the incredible man I already had. You deserved so much better than what I gave you. I'm sorry for the pain I caused. I'm sorry for taking you for granted. I'm sorry for throwing away something real for something hollow. I see now what I lost. Not because you're gone, but because of who you've become, or maybe who you always were, and I was too blind to appreciate. I hope Emma knows how lucky she is. I hope she treats you the way I should have. I hope you're happy, truly happy. You deserve all of it. I'm going to sign whatever papers you send. It's the least I can do. Thank you for 7 years of patience, love, and loyalty I never earned. I wish I'd realized that before it was too late. Rachel. She hit send and immediately turned off her phone, unable to bear watching for a response that might never come. 3 months later, Rachel sat in her new apartment, smaller than the house, but hers alone. The divorce was finalized. Marcus had been remarkably generous, asking for nothing. Through their lawyers, he'd sent one final message. I hope you find what makes you truly happy. She'd started therapy, begun a new career, learned to be alone without feeling lonely. Some nights she still cried for what she'd lost. But mostly, she was learning to forgive herself. Across town, Marcus stood at the airport with Emma, tickets to New York in hand. His company had transferred him. Emma's gallery was expanding. They were building something new together. Ready? Emma asked, squeezing his hand. Marcus looked back one last time at the city where his old life had ended and his new one had begun. No regrets. No looking back. Yeah, he said, smiling at the woman who saw his worth from the start. I'm ready. They walked toward their gate together, toward a future Marcus had never imagined but now couldn't wait to live. Rachel had wanted a break to find excitement. Instead, she'd given Marcus the push he needed to find himself. Sometimes the greatest gift we give someone is the freedom to realize they deserve better. And sometimes, the person who hurts us the most ends up being the catalyst for our greatest transformation.